Hey everybody, Crypto Mentor 99. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It is the evening of December the 18th. That'll make it Sunday, and I've got another special guest, fearless Monica Franco. Monica, how you doing?
Good, good.
So you guys have seen this wonderful face at least twice on my YouTube channel, but in previous videos, we've done little videos on Aloha Friday Kitchen, which is Monica's Hawaiian catering business out in the Provo, Utah area. And I said to her, you know what? I've got a little bit of a platform on YouTube. You know what? Let's tell your story. You're a fighter. You're, uh, an up and coming champion. You've had some struggles. We've all had some struggles. And tonight we're going to talk and interview Monica, not so much like on fighting per se. And this is going to be the beginning of maybe, and we haven't really decided, maybe every 2 or 3 weeks or 3 or 4 weeks, depending on the holidays or whatever training Monica may be in or my schedule. But so this is going to be the first podcast. I guess that's what we're calling it. And I'm looking at my notes here. So we're going to be talking in the episodes to come. Tonight, we talk about how to handle adversities. Okay. And that's going to include maybe bullying or some insecurities that Monica's had, self doubt, self worth. But in future podcasts, we want to talk about being an underdog. Monica wants to talk about perseverance, learning from failures, and just kind of giving advice / life coaching. And one more thing, Monica, then we'll launch into you.
Yeah.
I grew up playing sports, not as a professional, heavens no, but I was played competitive hockey, competitive baseball. And I think even as a fan, even now in my mid 60s now, holy moly, that we see athletes as almost like robots, like they don't have feelings. They're just, they get paid the big bucks. If you're in like the, National Football League or, Major League Baseball. And you kind of forget that, some people are married, some people are not. Some people, when they get to
Right.
a kid, they move to another city and they're alone. And
Yeah, yeah.
so I said to Monica, let's bring out who you are, what's in your heart, what's on your mind. So it's going to be kind of a freestyle. And Monica's Twitter account, I'm going to put below, and video number 1 below. We did an interview a while back about a new investment opportunity that we're both in. We'll save that video. So, Monica, so here we are, Sunday night. We're going to do the first episode, how to handle adversities in life. And we kind of agreed that the first topic or topics we were going to talk about was maybe bullying, insecurity, self-doubt, self-worth. We'll go 20, 25 minutes. So you want to give an introduction, even though we've done this in other videos, if people haven't seen those, kind of about who you are, where you've been, where you're at, and where you're going as a person and as a fighter with Invicta.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I am currently a professional women's MMA fighter for Invicta. Started a while ago, probably I would say about 10 years ago in the MMA realm. Prior to that, I had done Taekwondo, started at 15, so I've been doing it for a while. Competed heavily as an amateur, took a long break because of life, got back into it. Um, with Invicta, and then just currently now training, trying to get my businesses going, and just trying to stay focused and get ready for next year. So, I
So
mean, long story short.
when I think about you, like during the week, or if I talk to Mrs. Crypto Mentor 99,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that juggle a lot of activities during the day or during the week, but you've got to be right up on my list of people that, depending on what day it is or what time of the day, you could do literally one of 9 or 10 things. You know what I mean? So much respect for that.
Wait, what? Sorry, say that again.
Much respect for the juggling you need to do every day and every week and every month.
Oh man, I know, and funny because I can't really juggle in real life. I can't, so
So
I
let's
can't.
talk about bullying. So everybody knows that's kind of or it's been a sort of a hot topic. I don't know, the past couple of years, even though there were bullies on the playground when I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Well, let's talk about, let's kind of open the door of your life a little bit, if you will, for a word picture. Tell us about some, examples like what you think about bullying, which I can almost imagine what you're going to say, and if you've been bullied, or just kind of give us a flavor for the whole topic of bullying someone and being a bully.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a really good question. Um, as always, I try and just be as transparent and speak from my heart. So, I mean, I ironically enough, I kind of now feel that that part, I mean, bullying isn't something that anybody wants to go through because obviously it just creates this world of, whatever it may be, insecurities or self-doubt, like we were talking about,
Mm-hmm.
all these different things that can trigger you mentally and stuff. But at the same time, I feel like it's a necessary evil, if that makes sense. I don't think that anyone should experience it. However, if we go through it, it will eventually make us better, either better individuals, or it's gonna be the opposite. It's either you're not gonna want to do it because you know how it feels and you're never gonna do that to people, or you're going to do it because it's been done to your whole life. You know what I mean? Until they can figure that part out. So, I mean, as unfortunate as it is to experience things at whatever level bullying may be, some more severe than others, um, the best thing that I feel, in those situations is learning how to kind of accept what's happening, and just figuring out a way to embrace it in however manner you can, and then slowly working through it. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. I mean, there's going to be days where you're not going to even want to do it. You're not going to even want to get up because, I mean, sometimes like bullying to a severe degree can cause depression. So it's going to be hard. But, if you can just slowly chip away at it, just like anything in life, whatever it is, eventually somehow some way it will make you better, and you will understand it when you're finally out of it. I mean, that's my honest assessment of it. So bullying sucks, don't do it because it's not cool.
Yeah.
But I think on some level everybody's going to experience it excuse me, am I saying that? Experience it, just learn how to work with it and get through it,
Yeah.
and you'll get there.
None of these questions we've talked about before. We're just like, you know what, we're friends now. Let's just start the record button. Do you think, and again, there's no right or wrong answer. So do you think depending on someone's age, like first grade, fifth grade, high school, maybe not college, but we'll maybe like include that, depending on what age you are, someone could be, again, let the reader understand what I'm saying, or the YouTube audience, that maybe the older you are, or I'm sorry, maybe the younger someone is, to maybe tell an adult or a teacher versus someone being older that may be able to handle it themselves. What do you think
Yeah.
about?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a significant difference because the younger, I mean, when children are young, they don't really have a say
Yeah.
sometimes, or maybe people don't believe them, or they just brush it off. So I definitely feel that when it happens to you at a younger age and you don't know how to process it, that it can definitely be more damaging as opposed to a person who's older and hopefully has more experience with it,
Right.
process it a little bit better. However, with that being said, I mean, we think of these teenagers as adults in when they're in high school, but they're still very vulnerable.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
true.
mean, you see
Yeah.
it, from the suicide rates that happen when people are getting bullied on social media or whatever. Like people have off themselves because of the bullying. So I mean, I don't really, like you said, there's no right or wrong answer. I don't really know where the pinpoint happens as far as
Sure.
age is concerned, but I still feel as high school students, they're still very vulnerable. And I mean, it, I only hope that in time we can figure out a way to give these children the tools that they need to get through it. Because I feel like if I had some of the tools in high school
Yeah.
to face these things, I think I would have been a little bit, if I was who I am now, I wouldn't have been as afraid to try sports in high school. I wouldn't have been so insecure to do things, you know. I wouldn't have been a lot of things if I knew that sometimes these are just words that people are going to say, so what, really, who cares, you know, and just really, really owning that. Like, if we can teach those type of people like me, like, hey, like, just do it. Who cares? Like, just do it. You know, it's okay if you get teased. It's like people are going to say stuff, but you're going to get better from it and you're going to succeed, you know. And I hope that we can create tools like that for people in the future, at no matter what age.
Sure. Can you think, and I won't say this five more times, but again, none of these questions we've kind of talked about, or hey, I'm going to say this and then you say this, but can you think of a time or two or five or 10 where you were either younger or in high school or even now? Well, maybe not now so much because I'm a woman, but where you've been bullied and either how you handled it, or was it name calling, or did somebody try to beat you up in school, or like, can you give us like a specific example,
Sure.
like your own life, maybe?
Sure. Like you said, it was primarily heavily in my younger years, which then created, in being an introvert and insecure to certain levels, only being comfortable. But anyways, let me go back. Yeah, there were it was primarily a lot of name stuff for me, name calling, whether it was, about my weight or about my physicality, the way I looked, or, maybe my intellect or whatever. Sorry, I'm just coughing and stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, and even let me say this too, because I've done a few what do you call it? I've done a few talks at some elementary schools back in the day.
Cool.
Um, and one of the things that I'll say is, oh shucks, I just lost my train of thought where I was going with this, but I
Well, my
really wanted to
question,
say it.
yeah, no, it's okay. My original question was, can you think of one or two or
Yeah.
five?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I told them this. I said, people are going to see it. And sometimes it's the closest people to you. So for me, a lot of it came from just cousins that I just thought as a family, you love them.
Mm-hmm.
But, a lot of it came from, you know, family members, So I was just trying to say to those children, like, hey, yeah, I got teased or made fun of, or all of these things from family members, even, it might happen from them. It might happen from your parents. It might happen from your best friends, the people you love, you know what I mean? But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, it was always about just something to do with my intellect, my appearance, or whatever it was. And I could never understand why, because I was a fairly pleasant individual. And of course, that causes, complexities and stuff like that.
You bet.
Uh, yeah, for a lot of my life. And however, I didn't ever uh, dish it back. I always like just internally accepted it, internally hurt about it, didn't know how to really process it, and just did the best that I could growing up. So, but yeah, many times for sure.
Now, again, I'll stop saying this. None of this is scripted. Have you felt any bullying or name calling or whatever since you've been in the United States because of your Hawaiian culture or background?
You talking me moving up to the like mainland right
Yeah.
now?
Well, from whenever you went from Hawaii to the great old United States,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, not that Hawaii is not part of the United States, but I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
on the mainland or whatever, have you
Uh,
got any pushback like, oh, are you from Mexico or? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Honestly, no, no, not crazy, crazy pushback. Utah has been a fairly pleasant state. A lot of aloha here. Sometimes I wish that our islands still had that aloha. But unfortunately, a lot of our local people have left to the states due to the cost of living and wanting better opportunities for them and their children. But no, no, I have not really experienced that. I know when I was in Taekwondo and we went to like, Florida and Minnesota. I think it was Minnesota, and it wasn't anything crazy. But people I found out were from Hawaii, and they're like, "Oh, so do you live in grass shacks or la 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 la?" So I don't know. I mean that kind of stuff, but nothing crazy, nothing
okay,
super crazy. Yeah,
okay, all right. Well,
yeah,
let's check the box of bullying. Bullying. Why can't I say that? Let's kind of move on to maybe some insecurities.
sure.
Whether that could be from the spectrum of, as a little girl or growing up or being a fighter or as a fighter or not as a fighter or just,
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many
how,
different nuances to it. You're correct.
yeah, talk
There's
to some of the people that may be listening that may not even be fighters. They're just, young women or old women or young guys or that you want to just speak from your heart about insecurity and like maybe overcoming them or whatever.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean I mean, because there's many nuances to all of these topics, right? I mean, you can just kind of go anywhere with it. Uh, but I mean with insecurities, again, you it obviously goes back to some kind of rooted issue
Mm-hmm.
that people deal with. And for me growing up, I had a lot of insecurities because of what I dealt with, especially with still to this day with like physical appearance or whatever it may be, or, that's why I have issues posting stuff on the internet because I was never one like, oh, no, 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 look at me. No, no. I just feel very insecure.
Sure.
However, slowly but surely working through that, getting through that, and um, learning that insecurities are always going to be there,
Yeah.
but figuring out how to manage it and understanding who you are, learning to understand who you are will help you to become less insecure. And at the same time, in tandem, I feel like it'll also help with your self-worth, just kind of being your most authentic. I feel like the more authentic I am with who I am now, instead of like pretending to like be this or be that, and just understanding that not everybody going to like you no matter how nice you are or whatever it is, and just being okay with that. For a long time you want to people please, or you want to, you think you got to be a certain way because you want to get accepted, and that in itself for me was an insecurity. Or are they going to accept me if I'm not this or that? That drew up a lot of insecurities. So again, I mean, I'm still working through a lot of stuff, but I think the more I just continue to be transparent about me and myself, I don't know, I think it teaches me a lot, and it's making me learn, and it's making me understand myself and self-worth a little bit more.
Well,
I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, yeah. I mean, again, I'm mid 60s, and I'm not saying growing up as a little boy in like the 60s and 70s, but I don't hear this a lot lately. So maybe I'm dating myself, but um, I heard often, maybe in like high school, when like the mid 70s, 1970s, 70s, where like you have to be comfortable in your own skin. Like you just have to be at some level of
mhm,
maturity. You have to be, again, just comfortable, like in your own skin. Like, this is the way
yeah,
I am. I want to change, try to be a better person.
yes,
But
yes.
yeah, I like you just the way you are. You know, I mean,
I'm slowly liking me more just the way I am too.
yeah.
Little by little.
And that's a process, man. You know what I
It's a
mean?
process.
Like,
It's a process.
I mean, yeah, I mean, in some of my dealings with people, it's about advice giving and, giving people options. And no matter how old someone is or what position they're in or what their socioeconomic status is,
Yeah. Yeah.
insecurity has no boundaries for sure.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Um, but yeah, I think too for me, and I'm not saying like everybody's process is different because some people are agnostic and atheists or Buddhists. Not everyone is a Christian, but for me, understanding my where I came from and who really sees me, which is God. I feel slowly but surely that like even though I'm going through a lot of different things right now, still struggles and stuff, I do I do feel that my connection with God
Yeah.
really helps with all of it. So, with that being said, whatever your connection is, whether it's with God or with Buddha or
Mm-hmm.
the universe, I do feel that if you can tap into that part and get a better understanding of things in life, that helps as well. So
Yeah,
yeah.
well, that's good.
Sorry.
That's good. Well, I remember I talk about this a little bit on my YouTube channel, even though it's about cryptocurrency and investing and blah, blah, blah. But when I was a little boy, um, I mean, as long as I can remember, I stuttered so bad, so bad. I stuttered from basically as soon as I could talk, pretty much all the way through high school. And the person that people see now, I guess I'm like 6'1", tall, kind of slender, or not, I'm not big, kind of confident. As a little boy, if you looked at me, I just got so embarrassed and shameful. And I looked away because I was afraid if you asked me a question, I would have to answer that. And it'd take
Wow, yeah,
5 minutes just to, maybe not 5 minutes, but just, oh, I stuttered so bad. And in school, I had my own, well, I shouldn't say it like that. There was a speech teacher that volunteered at our little grade school in the middle of nowhere in Illinois, and she would work with me for like 3 hours a week. I would go from my
wow.
classroom with this
Mm-hmm.
teacher that was almost like a second mother to me. I mean,
Wow.
other than my mother and my grandmother, she was a woman that I spent 3 times a week from first grade to eighth grade. Like, think how many
Wow.
hours. And I would go into her office and just cry my eyes out for a half
Sure.
hour, and she'd send me back to class. And okay, I gotta, get up. And
Sure.
anyhow, so maybe even without getting kind of weird, but maybe even starting this YouTube channel in 2017 about cryptocurrency was a little therapeutic for me. But
Sure.
and
Sure.
I just kind of outgrew it. And every once in a while, I'll get hung up on a few words, but yeah, again, the man or the person that people see me now, even my wife, Mrs. Crypto Mentor 99, even in high school, man, I was shy. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
see, I'm stuttering. Insecurities, man, giving
That's
speeches in high
amazing.
school was not my best subject for sure.
Yeah. Well, that I mean that's the beauty of progression though,
Yeah.
because where you had a stutter problem, I had a really hard time learning how to read. So I
Read.
did the whole hook. I had to do the Hooked on Phonics program actually really did help me.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm still a little bit dyslexic sometimes, like my numbers and letters flip around. So I'm like
Okay.
gotta really look sometimes and I'm like
So
so
are you more of like a verbal processor? Like you would rather have someone explain something than you read it, right? Correct or no?
Yes, yeah, I'm that and visual as opposed to read and process. Like if I read something, I still have a hard time. Like I'll have to like read and read it to kind of for it to make sense. Whereas like if I'm watching a video verbalizing it, they're
Right.
showing me the program. I'm like, so yeah, you're correct.
Okay. Yeah, I know even in college, and again, I don't want to get in. I've got a couple advanced degrees. I would rather a teacher either write on the blackboard or verbally give a lecture than say, go read this book with 300 pages. There's going to be a test on it next week.
Right, right,
I
right.
mean, I could read, but my retention was better if I heard it or if I just read it myself as opposed to, no, I've got that backward. My reading comprehension, I would have to read chapters again and again and again and again. And even
Yeah.
for every college class I ever took, I would write my notes, and then after class, I would rewrite them. So it
Oh,
stick in my brain. And
okay.
it's not that I had a learning problem, but my learning was
Yeah.
repetition, repetition, repetition.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Same here. But you know what though? I mean, that's another thing that I want to point out is what was one of the topics of
insecurity.
failing? In
Yeah.
not insecurity. Did we have something to do with failure?
Well, self doubt, self worth. Yeah. Oh, well,
Okay.
learning from failures might be a whole topic
Okay.
podcast by itself.
There you go. There you go. Okay. But shucks. Okay, so I got sidetracked when I asked you that question. I'm so
I was just
sorry.
saying that, insecurities, again, you got to be
Yes.
comfortable in your own skin. That's a process. It takes a
Yes.
lifetime.
It
And
is. It is.
again, whether you're rich or not, male or female, we've all got, we've all got
Yeah.
a story, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I again with that being said, I think the more what we I just wanted to touch back, the more you can understand yourself and connect to whatever you need to connect to get a better understanding, that's going to help you with those insecurities for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going on 25 minutes.
Okay.
I'm going to do what I always do. So if the people are just watching this video for the first time, when I interview someone, I always give them the last word. So, Monica, Franco, out in Utah, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you want to touch on, or you're just like, oh, I want to say one more thing before we end? You've got the last word.
No, you know me as always because we've done a few of these. So if you guys run back on his YouTube channel, you can see it. He's just as consistent as I am because for me, it's all about gratitude. And I always thank you for the platform,
You bet.
for allowing just this open topic of conversation and kind of getting me out of my own insecurity, if I'm being honest with you, with putting myself a little bit more out there,
Yeah.
even if it's just on this YouTube podcast. And for those who tuned in, I really appreciate it. And I hope that you guys stay tuned for the next one because I think that this is going to be something that is beneficial even for myself. Just being able to talk about this with
Yep.
somebody is very therapeutic. So I encourage you guys to continue to follow and let your friends know and talk story. Leave comments if you got to. But thank you again for the platform and always grateful for my support systems and always grateful for God. And we hope to be able to hear from you guys if you have any comments.
Yeah. If you
Want
guys
to
have
know us.
comments or questions, put them in the description box of the video or my email, cryptomentor99 at yahoo.com. And again, Monica, thank you. We will do it again. And yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. Thank you.